Hello, it's Gemma and I'm back here at the Crumbs Doilies shop in Soho, and I hope you all had a brilliant Christmas. But the festive fun is not over yet, and this is my favourite time of year because it's a good chance for me to hang out with my friends and family and do what I love best, which is to cook for them. And obviously I love cooking cake and dessert, and the recipe that I'm about to show you is a mixture of cake and dessert. This is a really, really good combo. It's brilliant as a knockout birthday cake, but also as a really special dessert to serve after dinner. It's a luxurious 8-layer cake with a light chocolate sponge filled with a decadent truffle filling, and I'm going to show you how to make it. I'm going to begin by sifting together 85 grams of plain flour and 20 grams of cocoa powder. I'm just going to shuffle that through, and just to help it along, I'm just going to give it a mix with a whisk just to make sure it's completely combined. I'm just going to leave that to one side and I'll come back to that later, but for now I'm going to crack 4 large free-range eggs into my mixing bowl. And I'm going to add 105 grams of caster sugar. And I'm going to beat that together for 5 or 6 minutes on quite a high speed until it becomes really foamy and moussey and pale. So as you can see, it's tripled in volume and it's gone lovely and pale, and it's at a kind of ribbon stage. So now I'm just going to remove the paddle, get that out of the way, and back to my flour and cocoa powder. And I'm going to sift this again straight into this bowl, just for a little bit of extra lightness. And using a big metal spoon, I'm going to fold that in really gently, just being really careful I don't knock out all that air. And when it's about halfway through the mixing, I'm just going to add some melted butter. I have 80 grams of butter which is melted. I'm just going to pour that in and fold that in as well. It's important to take your time with this and really be gentle with the folding, just because you've put all that lovely air in, you don't want to knock it out. And because we're not using any raising agent like bicarbonate of soda or anything like that, we're really relying on that air in the egg to make these cakes rise. And that is ready. So now it's time to put it into my cake tins. And I'm using 6-inch cake tins, which I've greased and then lined the bases of. If you don't have 6-inch tins, you can use an 8-inch pan. This mixture will work just as well for that, but you won't be able to get 2 layers. You'll obviously only get 1. But for now, I'm just going to use my trusty electric scales because I want this to be exactly split halfway. So I reckon it's about 220 grams in each tin. And these just need to be baked at 180 degrees C for 15 minutes, or until a skewer comes out clean when stuck in the middle. And that's ready, so I'm just going to let these cool down. While my cakes are cooling down in the tins, I'm going to get on with making my truffle filling, and this is where the magic starts to happen. As you can see, I've got quite a lot of chocolate in my bowl, 450 grams of it to be precise, which is a lot of chocolate, but this is a special cake. So I've got couverture chocolate here, which is around 50 to 60% cocoa solids, and that's really perfect for this cake as this is quite rich. If you can't find that particular chocolate, then 70% dark chocolate will do. It'll just be a lot more intense in flavour, but that's also fine. So into my saucepan goes my 450 grams of chocolate, and to that I'm going to add 500 millilitres of double cream. And I'm going to melt those together on a low heat, and I'm going to stir it all the time so it doesn't catch. That's all lovely and combined and gone really silky and chocolatey. So I'm just going to put that to one side and get on with beating my egg yolks together. So I'm going to set up a bain-marie. So I've got my little saucepan of water, just about this much water in there. I'm going to bring that to a simmer. And then I have 6 large egg yolks here. I'm just going to set that over my bain-marie and add 65 grams of caster sugar. And then straight away start beating that for about 5 or 6 minutes until it goes really pale and fluffy. Okay, so that's looking lovely and fluffy. So now I'm just going to add my chocolate mixture to my egg mixture. and give it a really good stir. And now that it's all really well mixed, I'm going to just leave that to one side to cool down a bit. I'm going to clear the deck so I can start assembling my cake. My cakes are cool, my truffle mixture is cooling down as well, and so now it's time to get assembling. And I'm going to do this a bit different to how I normally do layer cakes, because I want this cake to be really tall and grand. And the cake tin that I've put it in is not quite tall enough, so I'm making a kind of temporary container so that I can really build this guy up. And I've got myself some acetate here, and I bought this at an art shop. I bought quite a big sheet of it, and I've just cut it so that it's just a little bit more than the circumference of the tin. And I've cut it also to be double the height of the tin. And I'm just going to stick that together at both ends to make sure it's really secure. And that's going to form a kind of collar, so when I start building it all up, it's not going to go everywhere. So just put that to one side, and now I'm going to split each of my sponge cakes in half using a cake leveler. Now, of course, if you don't have a cake leveler, you can use a knife. A serrated knife is best, but just watch your fingers and make sure you keep it straight. So now I'm going to start building it up, and I'm going to start by using the base of one of my sponges so that it's nice and flat on the bottom. So gently pick that up with both hands and just slot that right into your collar. And for the next layer, you want a good, generous amount of this lovely truffle sauce, so about 3 or 4 spoonfuls. And it's already starting to kind of level itself off and kind of dribble down the sides of the sponge, which is great. But I'm just going to give it a little wiggle just to help it along. And then once that's flat, just pop the next layer in and keep going until you reach the top. So I'm leaving a little bit in my bowl just in case I need to patch it up afterwards after it's been refrigerated, but for now I'm just going to put this in the fridge for a minimum of 2 hours. So my truffle cake has been in the fridge for a couple of hours and it's out now, so now I just need to do the big reveal. And to help it along, because obviously it's now stuck to the acetate, I've got myself a really warm tea towel and I'm just going to wrap that around it just to loosen those edges. You don't need to do this for very long, just 15 or 20 seconds will do it. So now it's time to peel it off. So my acetate came off and it's looking really cool. You can see some of that sponge in between all those layers of truffle. So now it's time to cut into it and see all those layers. It looks amazing and all the layers are really even and clean and it looks very luxurious, so I better just make sure that it tastes good. Wow. That is one of the most intensely chocolatey puds I've ever put in my mouth. That really rich truffle, but the lovely and light sponge really balances it out. Oh, this is the treat to end all treats. Have some more. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I can't wait for you to try it. And if you do, and you want to share your pictures with me, then do use the hashtag Cupcake Jemma on Instagram or Twitter, and I'll be sure to check them out. I'll be back next week. I hope you have a very nice festive season, and I'll see you soon. Bye.